is an original composition of interpretive baton twirling while reciting my favorite sections of the poem Howl. Thank you. By that contemporary beat poet, of course, Allen Ginsberg. I saw the best minds of my generation destroyed by madness, starving, hysterical, naked, dragging themselves to the Negro streets at dawn, looking for an angry fix. Angel-headed hipsters burning for the ancient heavenly connection to the starry dynamo in the machinery of night. Who, poverty and tatters and hollow-eyed and high, sat up smoking in the supernatural darkness of the cold water flask, floating across the tops of cities, contemplating Giles. To the West Bank Cafe Saturday midnight free show.
You stumble down the stairs of the West Bank Cafe. You stumble down the stairs, it's midnight Saturday. Your belly's full of beer, you wanna have some fun, you wanna see some comedy, and maybe meet someone at the West Bank. At the West Bank, it's kind of a cry of a generation. I want y'all to sing along with me now. At the West Bank, I couldn't hear you very well. I want you to sing it now. You people are pathetic tonight, but I don't care. You see, I just drove my car across the Jersey state line, and I'm here to have a really good time at the West Bank. I love each and every single one of you at the West Bank. You know, Bruce Springsteen's got New Jersey, and Billy Joel, he's got Long Island, John Denver's got Colorado, and Neil Diamond, he's got a lot of gall. But it's Saturday and it's midnight, well actually it's about half hour late, but we don't mind, we ain't even gonna hesitate, we're gonna get right down to the comedy tonight. We're gonna have a good time, we're gonna make you feel alright. God, I love the West Bank. At the West Bank. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the West Bank Cafe downstairs. Theater Bar, midnight Saturday street show. Right now, I do want to bring up our main man, our master of ceremonies, our resident playwright. His name? Yes, I think a cry went up from the crowd there. Who is a man who would risk his neck for his brother comic? Look like, Who's the cat who won't cop out when there's hecklers all about? Look like, He's a complicated Jew and no one understands him but his mother. That can't lose one bad mother. Shut your mouth. I'm talking about the black. We can dig it. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to give you our resident stand-up comic and playwright, My wife, Rusty Magee. Yeah, we are videotaping this evening, so it really kind of creates a real natural ambiance. You get a real sense of why television really portrays real life so well, don't you? You people out there who are right there can't fucking laugh, can you? No, I'm serious, and it's not your fucking fault. There's lights on you! And I don't like it either because I have to see you. And you know, I don't want to see you. I don't come up here to see you. I come up here so it's light up here, it's dark out there. I have the feeling that I'm in my own room, raving like a loon to myself! This is actually being recorded for HBO. We got to deal with them. It's phenomenal. All of our programming from here and from now on will be shown on HBO after the apocalypse. Rand Forrester, artistic director, put that deal together. Oh, we're set. I knew you wouldn't laugh. Didn't even bother me. No, I'm serious. I just really wanted to listen to the vowels and the consonants just bounce off each other. We came up with a new tax bill this week, which really doesn't affect me. No, there hasn't been a tax bill in this country that's affected me in the last 10 years. Figure it out. It's a free show. I'm much more interested in audience response than the flow of cash. I really am. I don't really care. No, I'm serious. I'm a 60s baby. And I am. I mean, that was it. I did a lot of drugs back then. And this is what happens, really, when you do mescaline before your GREs. It was an extraordinary booklet that I handed in. I think they were kind of stunned. They were also stunned that I did a lot of it on the walls in the hall. I finished the test by the commode, listening to the gurgling brook. The tax reform, I don't know how it works for anybody. I mean, they come out, oh, your IRA's affected this, your CD, These initials have no meaning to me. I'm part of the generation that did LSD, MDA, but didn't make the leap to the next set of initials. I didn't really get it. Oh, nice. Kind of with some golfers out there suffering from an acid flashback. Always nice. No, I have the short, intolerably short form. It's basically what they do is they just call me up and go, Lou, are you there? And I go, yeah. That's it. I'm part of that economy that Reagan keeps saying is in the that underground economy. We're just raking it in. Me and the waiters, the waitresses, we're just, we're rolling dough. What else? And we got DuPont is running. DuPont from Delaware is going to run for the Republican. I love what the Republicans are. Fuck, now they got every creep, every crazy, anyone whose family is intermarried over 30 times. The DuPonts own Delaware, the DuPonts gave us napalm, and now they give us their son, who will run for the presidency. He's running for it on a ticket. This is no shit. Front page, New York Times. Read the paper. Read it now. Read it. Read it. It's scary. No, I'm serious, but takes 2 steps back. Where you go, is it really happening? Remember acid and laugh. Because I realized after I saw Reagan in '84 take the presidency again and stand up in front of that Republican convention in which they tried to get rid of the ERA and almost really bring back slavery, except that they realized that they hadn't dismantled the welfare program yet. It was then that I realized that, I don't need acid again. And I was glad that I took it. I'm seriously thrilled that I took acid because at least now I have an imagination large enough to encompass what they're doing. Our next comic is a very fine actor who will be working up in Albany. If you make it up there, it's kind of a fun trip, really, a day trip. It's a real beautiful city. Now, Kevin O'Rourke is an exceptional actor and a fine comic, and it's a pleasure always to bring him up here. Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin O'Rourke.
Yeah.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kevin O'Rourke. And I'd like to sing a little song for you. You know, I grew up in the great Pacific Northwest where the trees are tall and the mountains seem to scrape the sky. And it's green all the time and the weather's terrible. And I grew up in Tacoma, Washington, which was a lot of fun because there was a paper mill and a copper smelter downtown, and every time we drove through, we thought somebody farted in the car. It's true. During the summer, we'd all grab our beach blankets and run out to the shore and try to get some good mold going in the crack of our butt. The sun never comes out in Seattle, but if you really mold well, you can look real tan. It's a greener shade of brown, but it's pretty special. People say to me, Kev, how do you do it? How could you leave Seattle, beautiful Tacoma? It's green and gorgeous, and the mountains are tall, and the trees seem to scrape the sky. How could you leave that beautiful part of the world for New York City, where it's dirty, filthy scum? The streets smell of urine. People are living in cardboard boxes over grates. Sirens go ripping down my street, probably for a Danish and a coffee. It's true. New York is a pit. But New York has something that Seattle doesn't. Life. And Seattle has something New York doesn't. Chainsaws. So I put together a little song. I didn't really write it, I stole it. That's what directors and producers say when they put it together. That's what they say when they steal something. This is called a duet for chainsaw and piano. Just a gigolo, everywhere I go, people know the part I'm playing. Paid for every dance, selling each romance, every night some heart betrayed. There will come a day, youth will pass away, then what will they say about me? When the end comes, I know they'll say, just a gigolo. As life goes on without me. Caught in a knot. When the end comes, I know you'll say, just a gigolo. As life goes on without me. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Rusty Magee on piano. Thank you, Rusty.
Kevin O'Rourke, ladies and gentlemen. Let's bring up our next comic.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Nancy Giles.
Thank you. I'd like to have a child someday, but I'm worried that my child's first words would be, Lee, press on nails, press on Lee nails, Lee, press on. Thanks for laughing. That's probably the only attempt at joke writing you'll hear on this stage with me anyway tonight. I had an audition. I had a bad cold this week, and on Thursday I was on the train coming home from an audition for a show called The Bubbling Brown Bottom Girls Who Ain't Too Short to Box with Mama Jesus. And a show I'm really excited about doing. And my nose was a little bit stopped up, so I was kind of, trying. I didn't have tissues, and I was trying to, quell the post-nasal drip. And I noticed on the #1 train that everybody was kind of staring at me, because I was doing things like that and wiping my nose. They were looking at me with this look that was pretty much like, she's big, she's black, she's sniffing, she does crack. You could just see it. In other words, so consequently, I just decided to, get rid of all their suspicions. I just let my nose run freely. Which I did, and then the looks changed to, oh, that poor girl is probably homeless and she's trying to dress up, how sad, that kind of thing. So, only in New York, yeah, another joke, yeah, I love it. I think what I'd like to share with you is what is, at this point, the highest paying job I've ever done. And it's a radio commercial, and I don't know how many of you know about how radio works, but it's very lucrative. It really pays, and it's pretty simple. You just kind of go in and they say, say Baba, Baba. No, say Baba, oh, Baba. And then that's, okay, it's a wrap, That's the job. And I just want to emphasize the fact that I feel like I'm a pretty well-rounded actress. I mean, I played white people, black people, eggs, trees, the whole bit. And this is the highest paying job I've gotten as a performer to date for the shortest amount of time commitment. I'm going to be reading both parts because I'm the only one up here. That's really bright. Girl 1. Girl, how did you let you talk me into this blind date? I mean, what does your brother look like anyway? Girl 2. Honey, he's really nice and he can cook. Girl 1. Yeah, but what does he look like? Girl 2. Wait till you taste his fried chicken. Girl 1. But what does he look like? Girl 2. Mama taught him all his secrets about making food taste great. She always says whenever you want to bring out the true natural flavor of chicken or fries or salad, use light tasting Crisco oil. Girl 1. Girl, you're not watching my lips. What does he look like? Girl 2. Mama says Mama says Crisco oil so light, it might as well, let's just call it Westco. Mama says Crisco oil so light, it doesn't hide the true taste of food. Just lets all the delicious goodness come through with no greasy taste and no cholesterol. Really sets the flavor free. Now, obviously, that's a reference to slavery and sort of the Emancipation Proclamation. Set free. Girl 1. But what does he look like? Girl 2. There he is on the steps. Girl 1. Woo-hoo! Now that's delicious! Remind me to thank your mama! Then the commercial ends with this bright little piece of tag. Light tasting Crisco oil now at a lighter price. Look for the Crisco oil 25-cent coupon in the dark and lovely hair care box. Now, for those of you who don't know, and I'm assuming you do, Dark and Lovely is that wonderful magical cream for black women to make your hair have that kind of Oprah Winfrey look. That kind of bouncy, 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 bouncy. So that's it. That's the highest paying job I've had in my career to date. And all I can say to you, ladies and gentlemen, is hopefully we shall overcome. Thank you very much.
That was Nancy Giles, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to perform for you now a song that I wrote about two of the people who I think are the most influential and important people in America today. Sean and Madonna, you make quite a pair. The country's neatest couple said Sonny and Cher. Sean is the bad boy, Madonna queen of sluts. If you think this marriage will last, you're nuts. Madonna's latest record now is surging. Up the charts, it's nearly number 2. She wants us to think she's like a virgin. Who's kidding who? Sean and Madonna, if you want the truth, are the latest role model for America's youth. He's a method actor or on methadone. He could take some acting tips from Sylvester Stallone. Monday night you punch the paparazzi. Wednesday morning's paper showed the pic. You treat media just like a Nazi. You make me sick. I hate Madonna and her see-through drawers. Now 15 million teenage girls dress up like whores. She posts nude pictures just to pay the rent. Didn't know they published them in Playboy and Penthouse. Living in a material world, and you need new material, girl.
Good evening. I'm Grant Stogie with the West Bank editorial. The report of the United Nations said that last year $166 were spent on weapons for every person on the face of the earth. Still, it's not like getting your own personal gun. So I was thinking, maybe you could stake out a gun or weapon part as your own and sort of pay for it every year. I've always been partial to flamethrowers, and I'm wondering if no one else had spoken for it, if I could sponsor one. People would feel more a part of the arms race this way. And those who are outraged by the Defense Department's ridiculous overspending for such cheap items as coffee pots and aircraft toilet seats could say, well, hey, wait a minute, that sounds a little expensive. I think I'll just shop around. Maybe stop off at Kmart, pick one up on my way to work and drop it off. And it doesn't just have to be something for the little guy. The big corporations could say, buy an aircraft carrier and gain great public relations points if the government has to acknowledge them the way PBS acknowledges their sponsors. This incursion was made possible by a grant from the Sperry Corporation. Now don't tell me that a jet fighter couldn't sport a little STP decal on the fuel hatch. And if a depth charge doesn't look like a can of Budweiser beer, I don't know what does. The commies have been bawling for years about how the West military policy is governed by the giant conglomerates. Well, let's show them what it's like when the big boys really get behind something. And when you tell the taxpayers the next war's on AT&T, well, stand back, because when they reach out, they're really going to touch someone. Thank you.
Grant Stogie, ladies and gentlemen, with the West Bank Cafe editorial.
All right, our next comic is a guy who started working here about 6 months ago. He is somebody who works at the Improv, which staggers me because he doesn't belong there. No, I'm serious. He's one of the brightest comics I've ever seen. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jeffrey Essmann.
It's nice that we can be quiet together. No. Be seated. Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome to the 4th grade. My name is Sister Bernice, and I've been teaching here at Our Lady of Sorrows since before you were born. Now, I've mimeographed this list of supplies you'll need this term, so there's no excuse for your not having them. I only want number 2 pencils used in here. No number 1s, no number 3s, number 2. Last year, a boy brought in a whole pencil pouch of number 1s. Well, I told him to take out those number 1 pencils and begin to write, "I must listen more carefully," and keep writing it until he had used up every one. Oh, how he cried. Oh, now number 3 should read Crayolas. So just cross out that P and put in a Y. Who said that? I know it came from over there. Well, God knows who said it. And before you said it, he knew you'd say it. And now that you've said it, he'll always know. And when he comes up to you at the Last Judgment and says, "Are you the little boy?" And I know it was a boy, because it's always the boys that have to shoot off their smart mouths. I remember the story of a boy who went to St. Mary's in Chicago while I taught there. Oh, this was years ago. He was a 3rd grader, just a little guy, but oh, he thought he was smart. He used to go to the zoo every day on his way home from school, and he would go over to the elephants, and he'd pick up a handful of pebbles and hold them out and shake them like they were peanuts. Well, the poor elephants thought they were, so they ate them. Oh, he thought this was funny. Well, one day, I don't know why exactly, but the boy decided to be nice to the elephants. So he bought real peanuts for them. But when he held them out for those elephants to eat, well, they figured that they were the pebbles again. And they tore off both his arms. You never know what's going to happen, boys and girls. That's why it's so important for you to lead good lives and always, always be in a state of grace. Oh, it isn't easy, I know that. But there is a way of making it seem a little less difficult. Every day, when you wake up, boys and girls, say to yourself, "I'm going to die today." Then see how you behave. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Jeffrey Essmann.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John Bowman. Yeah!
You want one? So anyway, now I'm going to take the microphone out and use this for what is your name, sir?
David.
Come on, don't kid me right off. I'm just coming out into the ice. No, David? So David, what do you do for a living?
I'm a student, a painting student.
You're a painting student, so you really have a bright future, huh? A lot of money. A lot of money in painting. I know. I got into acting for the same reasons. Yeah, so where are you a student at?
Queens College.
Queens College? That's nice. So do you live in Manhattan?
No, in the Bronx.
You live in the Bronx. You're a tough guy, aren't you? Huh? No, I'm serious. You have to be tough to survive up there, don't you?
Nah, it's sort of wimpy where I live.
That's funny. I never would have guessed. No, not at his expense. Don't start on him. Don't fucking start on him. He's my friend. He's my only friend right now. And you're my group leader, okay? So, like, up in the Bronx, I met a girl from the Bronx, and I said, you know, honest to God, I met her in a bar, and I met her at Dorian's Red Hand, and she said, that is not a joke. And I'm not kidding. That's where I met her, I swear to God. And you know what she told me she was into? Dumpster fires. Christ, does that go on in your neighborhood?
Yeah, a lot.
Dumpster fires? Is that why you hang around with him? That's nice. You know, I'd really, usually, I'm not like Blackstone or anything here, but you got a little bit of your shoulder pad showing right here, and anybody up here can see it. Just making friends wherever I go. How you doing? How are you? What do you do for a living? Hey, listen, buddy. I'm not a farmer anymore, but I still know a vegetable when I see one. That'll make it on the tape, I'm sure. So I come from Michigan. Michigan is the state that looks like a hand. Yeah, it's this one for you guys. Yeah, state that looks like a hand. And when I was in like third grade, my third grade teacher, Mrs. Dunworth, she said to me that on the seventh day when God rested, that he rested his hand on Michigan, and that's why it looks like a mitt. Do you know what God rested on Florida?
No. Shit.
How do you explain the Keys? I grew up in a little tiny town, which was boring and nothing much to do. So what we used to do for fun, jeez, I really got to move along now. What we used to do for fun is that all my friends from this place where I grew up in Michigan, we'd all pile in a car, and because I grew up in a town, I swear to God, no more than like 600 people in this town I grew up in. And what we'd do is like I'd get 4 or 5 of my friends, and we'd pile in a car, and we'd drive down to Grand Rapids where they had malls. And all my friends would like run into an MC sporting goods store, and they would pretend like they're looking at basketball and stuff like that, you know. And after they were in there for a minute, then I would come in as a total stranger, somewhat like this. They would all be with basketballs and stuff going, he's doing it again! I'd walk up to the counter to the first asshole in an orange vest, and I'd say, excuse me. You got any guns? The great thing about doing this, though, folks, nobody's going to ask you any questions. There's just about that much chance that your parents experimented with acid and you really were born this way. Nobody will fuck with you. Yes, sir, of course we have guns. What kind of guns would you like to see? Handguns, if you got them, but nothing would do. They'd come back, I'd try to make it just a little bit more obvious. I'd say, oh, by the way, you got any bullets? Yes, sir, of course we have bullets. We carry bullets for all the guns we stock. And then, I'd pull the old guilt trip on him. Never fails. I'd go, oh! I know what you're thinking! You're thinking I can't even shoot a gun! Well, I'll tell you what. I'll take you out in the woods right now, one-on-one. We'll have a shooting match. We'll see who wins, me or you. Let's go, buddy. And then I was put in a mental institution in Traverse City, Michigan for a few years. Great thing about that is they put me in a straitjacket and my arms came out right. Used to go around the house with my eyes crossed all the time. My mom said, John, if you do that, they'll stay that way the rest of your life. Look at me now, Mom. I'd like to do one other quick thing here for you. This is a television impression. I hope you like it. If you don't, tough shit. Television impression. Danger, Will Robinson! Warning! Danger! 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 Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. John Bowman. I'd like to thank all of you, actually, the audience this evening, because without you, I'm serious, without you, this wouldn't have gone on. We needed you about as badly as we've ever needed you. Because otherwise, if nobody was sitting up here, we'd be fucked. We couldn't send the tape out there. I'm serious, we couldn't, because they'd say, well, it was funny, but where was the audience? Because the thing is, we'd still do it if you were here or not. We've worked down here for so long that most of us hear laughter and no one is there. Comedy is basically, to me, if you'll notice, everyone who worked up here this evening is not a comic. Primarily for a living, they don't do comedy. They act or they write. Because people who do comedy for a living are sick! They're sick people! Anyone who wants you to laugh all the time is out of their fucking mind! I mean that! I've worked in comedy clubs. I've sat at bars with them. What do you think of this? What do you think of this? I don't give a shit! Because I like to weep some of the time. Comedy is an easy goddamn thing. It is tension release. It's just like sex. It's exactly tension release, tension release. That's what it's about. It's like da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Boom! That's it. You can put anything you want in there. It'll work. If it's rolling, you're right. Most comics who work in this country now come from the Dale Carnegie School of Comedy. They come up, they're very self-confident, they know exactly what it is. Where you from, where you from, where you from. Who cares? Most of these people can't remember where they're from. We're done. I'm fried. This is about as hot as it will ever be in here.
Yeah, really, like, can we have the heat up just a little bit more? Throw another Duraflame on the fire and...
But actually, after we're done, what we're going to do is put on some very heavy rock music and just kind of slide around. It's the largest Mazzola party we'd ever be at. We would like to thank all the comics you saw this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, I leave you with Mr. Rusty Magee.
Louis Black, ladies and gentlemen. Lou.
Hey, where did we go? Days when the rains came. We went down in Hollow, hey, hey. We were playing a new game. We were running and laughing, hey, hey, hey. I remember skipping and a jumping. In the misty morning fog, I remember it so well, and my heart was thumping, and I remember you. My brown-eyed girl. remember my brown-eyed girl so well. And you never know when she's gonna leave, and you never can tell. And I hope your brown-eyed girl's sitting right next to you here tonight. And I hope when you take her home tonight, you're gonna hold her and squeeze her tight. And I think each and every one of us has got a brown-eyed girl back there somewhere in our past. Well, she might be here, she might be here in your present, you might want to make it last. And it might be a brown-eyed girl or a brown-eyed handsome man, it doesn't matter, it's just someone you can tell I love you to, or someone you can say goodnight to. And I hope each and every one of you got one of them out there tonight. And I hope each and every one of you gonna make it feel alright. And I married myself, so I got my own little brown-eyed girl. She makes me happy, she makes me feel alright. But I remember back in 1969 when I was just 14 years old. I remember making love behind the stadium in the green grass with you, my brown-eyed girl. You're my brown-eyed girl. Remember when? And I hope y'all remember, and I hope y'all gonna sing along when the chorus comes along now. Do you remember when we used to sing sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la? Do it again, do it again, do it again now. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Let's dance with harmony. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Just do one more time. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. And a cappella now. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. A little bit louder now. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. You are so beautiful. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. And just the girls, please. Let's show them how, boys. A little bit softer now. It's just a whisper. And now just think it. A little bit louder now. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. And even louder. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. It's a religion. Let us raise our heads and pray. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. And just two more times. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. And here's the last one. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. God bless you. Good night, everybody. Thank you. Down the stairs of the West Bank Cafe. Stumble down the stairs, it's midnight Saturday. Your belly's full of beer, you wanna have some fun, you wanna see some comedy, and maybe meet someone at the West Bank.